Scott Wimberly here today with Fabtech Systems to talk to you today about some componentry changes we've made in our PDE kits. What we'll do is we'll start with the BOA system. The BOA system originally had two different configurations. One allowed the lines to move from one side, the other allowed the lines to move straight through. It was kind of a roll of the dice in cuff systems sometimes to figure out which one you wanted to use. Since then, we've gone with a universal system. The universal system allows you to run cables out of one side, run cables straight through. Gives you a lot more options when you're working with your BOA closure system. So the other two will be getting phased out. A big improvement that was made recently was in our anchoring system. The anchoring system originally was just a 2-bolt plate made out of stainless. The laminate was put over the top of it. With the screws coming through. You would then laminate it between it and a dummy system to pack the laminate down, keep it even, and then that's what the spring was bolted to. With the new anchor system, what we've done is we've taken the same 2-bolt pattern, we've converted to aluminum hardware. That aluminum hardware now has raised bosses so that we've got full screw engagement for a full thickness of the anchor. Also, those posts allow us to still put the laminate over the top and sandwich everything together. To help get the laminate over the top of these, we use introducers. The introducer is just a simple cone-shaped tool that goes over the anchor, screws into the hole like that, and then we'll push the material down on top of it. I'll show you more a little bit later when we do kind of a quick layup snapshot. In that, our original anchor system, when you set it up, you took and did your anchor plate, you did your dummy, and you did your spring to create that setup. We glue that down and do our layup. With the new anchor, it's just the new anchor screwed to the spring. Doing that, we get the new anchor. When we bolt all this together, because of the springs have a varying thickness and hardware comes in standard sizes, a lot of times you have to look at how much of the thread comes through the plate, and you can take a grinder and you can grind it to where it's flush. What that does, it goes ahead and makes sure that the screws are exactly the correct length for the brace before you've started building it, so it assembles even easier. When you go to assemble one of these new style braces that has the new anchor plate, one of the nice things is because you know exactly how much screw is needed to go into the anchor, you can build a quick tool for measuring and making sure that you're doing the correct length hardware. So in a case like this one here, where we've put our 2 screws through our system and we're going to be bolting this spring down, what I can do now is I can come in and I can measure and see if I have enough bolts sticking out to be able to get full engagement. When you look at these 2 screws here, you can see that the longer screw, based on the mark that I've got there, is longer than I need, and the shorter screw isn't long enough. So in this case, what we would have to do is we'd have to grind down the longer screw to be able to get it to fit, and the shorter screw wouldn't be a considered part in this brace. That's an advantage we didn't have with the old anchor. With the old anchor, because people had the ability to customize the amount of layup that goes between the spring and the anchor, you were never quite sure if the hardware that you were putting in when fitting up hardware after the fact was truly going into the metal or if it was just going into that laminate on the top section. These braces do move enough force that we want to be sure that we get good screw engagement. So now that we've got the anchor on there, what we're going to want to do, since we're going to be putting the fabric over the top, is we want to go ahead and add the introducers. The introducers just screw straight into the hardware the way the bolts would normally go, and they stand up proud from there. Using just a touch of spray adhesive, we'll come in and we'll start putting our layup down. Our layup does have 2 layers at 45 degrees. So you can see here, we push that over the introducer tool at 45 degrees, and we go ahead and put our fabric down onto the model. Now that we do that, we go ahead and put our second layer of 45-degree fabric in place. This is our inner 45-degree layer that was talked about in the assembly video. So all I'm doing now is I'm just working the introducer through the holes in the fabric, spreading the fabric around those posts. So now we've got 2 layers of 12K. Let's start adding some reinforcements. This model is probably, we'll just say this one's average, so we're going to do a minimum of 3 reinforcements. So we'll put that fiber in a 090 orientation. We'll go ahead and spread it over the introducers. So there's 1 reinforcement. Here comes reinforcement number 2. 2 reinforcements. And we'll go ahead and get number 3 prepped up. So now we've done 2 inner layers at 45 degrees. We've done 3 reinforcements, and you can see that I'm starting to get a fair amount of material building up around the base of these studs as I'm packing it down. We'll go ahead and add our first 45 degree outer layer with just a little bit of spray glue. So we'll get that in a 45 degree orientation. And we'll go ahead and move it down over the introducers. You have to be careful when you're using the spray glue not to get a whole lot of glue on the center of the fabric where it goes over the introducer, or they do want to stick a little bit, but that's not really a big deal. So now that we've spread, we've got inner layers, our 2 45 degree inner layers, we've got 3 layers of reinforcement, and we have 1 layer of 45 over the top. This is the point where we'll take our packing tool. The packing tool is actually just a drilled out lamination dummy from the anchors. So it's been drilled out to 1/2 inch. You just take that over the top and you come in and you pack the carbon fiber down a little bit. Now we know that we've got the full layup that we're looking for completely around these aluminum posts. We've got everything packed into a level that we want to see it at. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to grab some hardware and we're going to have to bolt our spring into position. So go ahead and get some screws ready. There's 1. And there's 2. We'll come in and we're going to unscrew the introducers, and they just come right back out. We'll finish packing that material around the flat spots of the aluminum. And we'll take the lamination dummy that we've always used, we'll put it in position, and we'll put the screws in place to hold it down snug. You need to make sure that it does go down snug so that you get a good surface contact. Now, if you were doing a full brace, this would be the point that we would cover it with our final layer of 45 degree braid and laminate it just as the way we always have. Thank you.